The Liberty Flames football team is going to be becoming an FBS independent during the 2019 football season. And I don't think this is going to end well. Let's look at a few facts. Idaho has recently become the first team that is set to drop down to FCS level Division 1 AA from Division 1A since the split occurred back in the 1970s. Idaho couldn't stick it as a Sun Belt member. It was just too far in travel. They couldn't get it going as an independent. They tried again in the Sun Belt. That didn't work out. They're going to go back and join the Big Sky with teams like Montana and Weber State and Montana State and Eastern Washington. It all seems like a much more natural fit for them. Massachusetts was kicked out of the MAC a few years ago. It's doing its own thing as an independent and says it's looking to join a bigger conference in the future, but there's a lot of calls that Massachusetts should drop down. The team is losing money, and it's having trouble scheduling quality opponents year in and year out. New Mexico State is going to be kicked out of the Sun Belt and will have to be an independent soon as well. And this is the worst time with the advent of television contracts and huge amounts of money and the college football playoff really pushing things into a Power 5, Group of 5 separation point. It's really not a good time to be an upstart, especially independent upstart, which is what Liberty is trying to do. Some of the things that Liberty has going for them is that they have one of the nicest stadiums in the FCS right now. They have about 19,000 capacity, and it can easily expand it to 30,000, which is what you would need for a lower level FBS team, like a Sun Belt Conference USA level team. They have a head coach in Turner Gill with a lot of experience. He was the head coach at Buffalo and at Kansas. He was Kansas's coach during their glory years in the Orange Bowl run. So he knows what it takes to get it done at the top level. They have a solid history of turning out good NFL players. They've been competitive in the FCS playoffs before. It looks like it should on paper work, but the money is going to be the biggest situation. Next year, they're going to play New Mexico State twice. You don't often see college teams playing the same team twice in one season. In fact, I've never seen it before today when I looked at New Mexico's schedule coming out. This is a sign that these two teams are struggling to schedule opponents. This is a sign that they have to go sort of back to the well, if you will, and do a home and away in a single season. There's potential for Liberty to grow its brand and grow rivalries. I think what it wants to do is it wants to become sort of like an evangelical Notre Dame or an evangelical BYU. And it certainly has the potential to become that. But with the way the athletics situation is in college football right now, it's going to be a long road ahead. And it might not be worth it. You have to ask yourself, is it really worth it to be a lower level independent FBS team that struggles to schedule those big games, or to be a competitive FCS program, not make as much money, but have your scheduling set and have your players in a state of I know what's going on and have people know what's going on. Money rules the world and money talks, and this has the potential to make Liberty a lot of money. They could get a scheduling arrangement with Virginia, which is nearby, with Virginia Tech, with North Carolina, with other teams in the area of Lynchburg, Virginia, where they play. It could work. They could become BYU. But even BYU, with a national championship in 1984 and a Heisman winner in Ty Detmer and years of history, is struggling because it can't find itself in a conference. It wants to join a conference and nobody's biting. They wanted to join the Big 12. The Big 12 was nervous about the deeply religious sort of atmosphere that they have on their campus and with their administration. The Big 12 was nervous about that. Liberty is going to face the same problem. Liberty is possibly even more politically charged than BYU. If they want to join the Conference USA or the Sun Belt, which is what I think they want to do, it's going to be a long road ahead because of things like that, because of things like money. I just don't know how this can end well for them. Idaho is dropping down. Massachusetts and New Mexico State look like they will have to drop down eventually. Even some of the lesser teams in the Sun Belt are probably only a few years from dropping down. I just don't believe that this is going to work out for Liberty in the long term, although I think it has potential. I don't think it will work out. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Are you a fan of Liberty football? Do you think it will work out? Do you think Liberty can become like a BYU of the East? Or will it just be a bottom feeder and will eventually drop down just like Idaho has? Let me know. And this has been The Hard Truth. See you next time.